Hey folks, Steve here with a post game on postscript video for you today. We're back at home at Dolges home base after the weekend or the tail end of the weekend. Wanted to do a couple wrap up bits of commentary um, since it's still nice out and the snow is melting. I do it outside. I'm doing something a little different with my audio. I've got my earbud in, seeing if that microphone picks up the audio a little more clearly. So we'll see how that goes. Um, so let's see. We left off Thursday, where I had made up a couple of makeup games after canceling the Valley of Tears campaign, or stopping it early. Now, I will report back for my wife. She did well in her games. Her Here I Stand game. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning. She played Commands and Colors Tricorn with Justigard, and she managed to rack up 2 wins for the Dolges family scoreboard. So good on her representing. She did well there. She's played Commands and Colors a decent bit before, so while she had not played Tricorn previously, the system's similar enough that she was able to do well there and had a good time. And Justigard, Justin being a gracious host for the game, that all turned out great. Um, she also played in Here I Stand. She was the papacy, and did not win that one. But Here I Stand's always a tough game if you got a lot of good players. She gets in that game every year and did you know does reasonably well, and that's always a good time for her. She played a few other games over the last couple of days. She played some Battlestar Galactica, and I think a few other shorter games that she got in on. So for that Friday Saturday combo, she managed to get some good gaming in. And then today, while my wife got our daughter back home, I was able to play a little bit in the morning. My friend Scott and I were going to try to play December 1972 Linebacker 2, a game that he had kickstarted. I want to say I don't know, some time ago, and we were getting it all out, and it looked pretty interesting. I've got some pictures I'll post up in a community post. Um, but unfortunately, the rule book was just not helpful in setup or onboarding, and we ended up just calling it and said, "Well, let's play something else. We're not going to get this figured out in the short amount of time that we have to play." So instead, we played a game called Under Our Sun. I want to say it was called. Now that was a very interesting game. We had a good time with it. It is a cooperative game set in a post-apocalyptic situation, very reminiscent of maybe like Mad Max or maybe a dry Fallout. It's kind of hard to gauge, but it's post-apocalyptic, and the players work together to succeed at different objectives. So you pick a mission to complete, and you explore the wasteland, uncovering hex tiles and finding resources that you can gather that you can use to craft items that can help you solve whatever mission you're on that you're solving for. There's different characters with different abilities. It ended up being a pretty fun little time, a nice little sort of ending to the con to play something that was like that. And the art of that game was really really good. I mean, it just looks really cool. It's a cool looking game. I think I'm endeavoring to try to find a copy. I missed the Kickstarter or the Game Found campaign for it, and for some reason the company website won't ship to my address, so I couldn't buy it direct. So I'm figuring that out. But it was a really cool game. I liked it, and I figured, oh well, I'll find maybe I'll find a copy for myself at home, or if nothing else, I'll play it with my buddy in the future. So a big thanks to him for bringing that game and being willing to teach it and play it. We kind of fumbled our way through it, but it was a good time. So a decent end. Got to get a little bit more gaming in before the end of the full weekend. Um, so yeah, 5 days of game on. Had a really good time. Was I think uh, a time well spent. I mean, I said it in previous videos. I'll say it to anybody who will listen. If you don't get engaged in your local convention seen, you really should. I mean, it's a really good way to see a lot of games you maybe otherwise wouldn't even get to see if you weren't willing to buy it yourself. Um, and getting connected with friends and having something every year that you can look forward to is a really big deal. And I'm really glad. I'm very fortunate that um, my wife likes to go and likes to game, and that we look forward to that together, even if we don't get to game together very much. In that way, we game a lot at home, or we game a decent. I can't say we game a lot. We game a little bit at home when we can, and that's always good. I feel lucky to have a strong in-house opponent I can always lean on to play some games with. Um, one last thing I want to just add on to this video. This is a postscript, maybe, to my Valley of Tears video from earlier in the week. You know, at this convention, there's an award that they give out called the Hank Award, which, people they nominate people they're playing games with to win this award. The person who gets their name submitted the most will win the Hank Award for that year. And the reason why they have this is that someone that they gamed with way back, Hank, had passed away, and he was always described as someone that um, was always a good guy to play games with, and he never cared. If he was having bad luck and rolling bad dice, he'd just laugh it off and keep gaming. Um, and thinking about that Hank Award, and thinking about a little bit of mea culpa on the Valley of Tears gameplay, that at some point it just became, for me, like I was not acting in concert with Hank. I was frustrated by some die rolls, frustrated by the situation and the game situation. And, I think it was sensical to say, hey, let's stop the game. And then because of that, I got to play two other games that were fun and that I got to try out. And, um, that was pretty neat to be able to play those games that I guess I wouldn't have otherwise been able to do that if I kept playing Valley of Tears the whole way through. But I think there's something that I have to absorb and own up to, which is, yeah, I wasn't having fun in the moment playing the game when I was. Yeah, the die rolls were sucky, and I was dealing with that. And everybody, there were other folks at the convention who were having rotten luck, um, and I maybe could have, stuck it out, and maybe I should have stuck it out, and we would have been still having some fun playing Valley of Tears. So it's a weird exchange, right? I mean, I exchanged that time to get to play some other games, and that wound up being um, really valuable and a good time. And I'm glad that I did that, because I didn't want to lose a whole day of gaming to something that wasn't being fun in the moment. But I maybe could have also just sucked it up and said, let's keep playing it anyway, and I can find fun in the situation. And I think I made a bold statement to say, like, this scenario isn't very fun. Um, and looking back at it and say, if things were going a little bit different, maybe I would have found it fun, and that might turn people off of Valley of Tears because of that commentary. And I think folks should find out for themselves how they like the scenario. And I think I just got pushed, past a point for myself that day, and I had to kind of retrieve my time of fun, that my limited time of fun at the convention, to switch gears and play something else. I think that was a good move. I ended up having fun playing other games. That's a good thing. But I didn't have to abandon that Valley of Tears game, and I think I do want to endeavor to try to game that same scenario again with my same friend, same sides, do it again. Um, Maybe hope for better luck, but even if I don't, it's just another opportunity to play that game and see it through to a more cohesive conclusion. So, I had Carl, the designer of Valley of Tears, reach out in the comments section of the previous video. I think he laid out, every. I don't disagree with anything Carl said. I think everything he put in the comment is accurate to, this is the way that the game is intended to be, and that, yeah, it can be difficult under these circumstances. That's all true, absolutely. And so I think I need to give that one another whack and see what happens. the byproduct was I got to try out some other games and had a good time playing those other games. And all things considered, the scenario was, uh, or the convention, I should say, was time well spent. A good time. It's like now I'm struggling. It's a whole year until the next one, right? That's probably the worst part of a convention is to get back home, kind of feel a little deflated, like up the fun's over, back to work, back to day, back to all the normal things that you do outside the convention. And we'll look forward to the next one. Maybe we'll try to get to some other conventions, but it's so hard to right now. But we had a good time. So, and my daughter was a trooper throughout, so she did fine and had fun doing other stuff, obviously. But it was a good time. So yeah, in conclusion, guys, Game On 2020, 2025, gosh, 2025, it's 13th year of Game On, which is crazy. I've been going for, I think, 10. This might have been my 10th Game On. Very used to going, very glad to go. Valley of Tears, I need to give that game another shot. I need to run that scenario again. I let my desperation for a fun, work free long weekend pressure me into trying to play other games. And while that worked out, um, I didn't necessarily have to do that. So uh, we'll have to figure something else out in the near future and give that game another shot. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the peep into my world a little bit here for the Game On coverage. Go check out Justigard, Justin's coverage as well. He's done a good job of kind of capturing the overall content of what goes on at Game On as a convention and types of games that get played and all that. So please check out his stuff if you haven't already. And yeah, guys, we're going to get back to Red Strike here later in the week, I hope. Schedule permitting, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, otherwise, take care, folks, and keep gaming.